Today we're giving you guys some advice, some unwarranted advice.
Yeah.
Because we don't know you. We don't know if we would even like you.
I need to never see you again.
I don't have like a very soft spot in my heart for cheaters. Like, what are some ways so you can keep the love alive in the bedroom? We're not
You should
discussing,
read
but
Fourth Wing.
you could
Novels.
find yourself a shadow wielder that can literally wield shadows. I don't know. Sometimes like Derek's underwear would get looking really raggedy. And I was just like,
Hi. Hey, it's Sarah and Lo Beeston, your Fairly Odd Sisters. Woo! Yeah! Please don't make me do it again.
welcome back
Hello.
to the Fairly Odd Sisters. We're excited for today's episode. We haven't done one in a little bit, but today we're giving you guys some advice, some unwarranted advice.
Yeah.
I feel like we always have to preface these episodes with everything we say is just our opinions.
Yeah.
We don't
And
want
obviously,
people-
you know your heart and your gut feelings the most. So, like, lead with that. And this is just
like,
something.
don't do something and ruin your life just because we said it was a good idea. Be careful.
Exactly.
But we will try from the information that you're giving us
To
to
say what we would do in that situation.
yes. And again, take it with a grain of salt. We have some pop culture updates for you guys because it's been a minute. We didn't really do anything. We had the boys on for last week's episode, which was very enlightening for us as couples.
You need to get to know us better. The boys. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, what did you think about that?
I thought it was great. I think that a couple of the answers that were wrong, I was like, how did you get that wrong? You know what I mean?
You start questioning if you know the person that you're living
like,
with.
okay, but then it's like once you see the answer, you're like, oh yeah, I would put that. If it was like
in their shoes, you
yeah.
can see how they'd put that.
yeah, or like if it was like A, B, C, D, I know they'd get it right every time. But
Yeah.
coming out with like something out of your butt, sometimes it's hard.
Yes. Yeah, there were
was
a few answers. Poor Derek. I think he went home thinking about his last answer for like, I could tell when he was leaving, that was just,
He's like, no, that was so dumb.
that
I'm
was
like,
not
no.
gonna, but honestly, that was his funniest answer.
That was
So,
really funny.
you know
If
what?
you haven't seen that episode, make sure to go watch it. It's
Yeah.
it's a good one.
It's always fun to have the boys on.
It's so fun to have us all together because the last time we did that was months and months ago. So really fun.
Yeah, eventually we should probably just do another normal episode with them because we barely scratched the surface with the Newlywed Game.
Yeah, there's still so much more.
Yeah. Pop culture updates. So there's a few for you guys. Apparently the ABC is not continuing to do The Bachelorette, but they will continue with The Bachelor. And who
So
knows if
weird.
this is just a rumor, but I think apparently the ratings were
Well, they're
a
for
lot
sure
lower
not
with
doing the Bachelorette this summer.
Yeah, this
That's,
summer
like,
it's
confirmed.
canceled, which I wonder if any of those girls that went on for, I'm watching this season.
They went on for the wrong reasons to become the Bachelorette. They're
the
pissed.
Bachelorette. You know, some girls are going on to do that.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they're just sitting there like,
Like I did all that like sucking up for nothing.
for nothing.
They're like, I got almost engaged for nothing.
Yeah. So far I like this season. I honestly though am trying to get a good read on Grant. Like to
He a
me,
good guy?
he seems like that's the thing though.
Is he kind of like a player?
I don't know if I trust him yet, but we're only 3 episodes in and he's a very good, like, sweet talker. And I think he is a good guy. I need to see more.
We're used to
from him.
Sweet Joey.
Joey just cannot be topped.
I think you know what
that's
it is? He was the first short bachelor.
Joey.
Yes.
He's
And I
just-
think because he's short, he's sweet.
yeah.
Like he's not that he's like short, but he's like the first under 6'4", whatever bachelor.
Yeah. Honestly,
And
though, I don't know if any guy has a chance after Joey. Like,
I know,
there's just
but I think
those
you know,
shoes
like
to
my
fill.
theory is like the men that are shorter, they like work a little harder to be like sweeter and kinder because they don't have their height
Yeah.
to kind of like be a player, like whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I think, when getting girls, you have to be sweet. I think in other instances, like, they could be like the short man syndrome.
Yeah, for sure. It's like you can find both in both, but for
Yes.
some reason, like that's my theory with Joey.
Well, in Joey's case,
just out of all the bachelors, you get like
Yeah.
some are just the worst and some are
Yeah.
great, but
Honestly, if I were Grant, I just would have turned down the job knowing that Joey's
the previous.
Like
He
the
was so
best in
nice.
history. And then you have to follow that. Anyway, pretty rough. So that's kind of a bummer. Like I actually like having the Bachelorette going in the summer. I guess Bachelor in Paradise will still be happening. So maybe some of those girls will just be on Bachelor in Paradise.
How will we get more guys though in the Bachelor?
They'll probably just like
universe? They'll just reuse the old guys.
I don't know.
So weird.
Bring them back. You know, there's those guys what's the guy that's on for like
so many seasons.
He kept coming back. Well, Nick was for a while,
on for
but
a lot of seasons.
Bachelor in Paradise, like he was there every.
Is it Blake? No.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I know
you
who
know,
you're
there are
talking
those
about.
repeat guys. They'll be fine. But it's kind of rude to just cut the Bachelorette and not the Bachelor.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I think they just want the more drama, and obviously the girls tend to cause more drama.
That's true.
Anyway, what's our next one we got for you guys?
So I just saw that Pete Davidson removed all of his tattoos, and like if you haven't seen him before, he was
so shocking.
covered like all over his chest, arms, everything. He spent $200,000 on removing them.
Gosh.
And like had to do 20 sessions to get them removed. And each session, he said that it hurts so bad. It's like basically you take a laser and it burns your skin, and you have to like burn all of your tattoos off, and you have to go in 20 different times.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, yeah, it hurts like freaking HE double. So anyway, I guess think twice before you get those tattoos.
Okay, but
Tanner,
we'll put up, I guess if you're just listening, you can't see it, but look it up on your phone.
Yeah.
We'll, for the people that are watching on YouTube, we'll put the pictures up. He looks
crazy.
so
He
much
looks
better.
He looks really good.
Like I'm like a fan of like some tattoos, but it's like the ones like we were just talking about this,
When
like
it's just
JB, we
completely
love
covered.
JB, but like he got like a few tattoos and I was like, oh, that's cool. But then like he covered everything.
They just take it too far.
It's too far.
And then it's like, well, I want to be able to still see you.
Yes.
And anyway, I know it's a vibe for people, but
Yeah. So yeah. And it's like it's obviously your body. So we're not
Yeah.
going to tell you not. We're just saying like.
but it is crazy that he chose that. And then now he's like regretting it because I guess he said that the reason is because he keeps being in these movies where he has to sit and get makeup every day
that makes sense.
to cover all his tattoos.
And
he's
it
like,
probably
it's
takes
so annoying.
hours and
Yes.
hours and hours.
And so since he wants to be more of an actor, he just made the decision.
But it looks so good.
It looks way good. The top comment was like Kim running back to Pete right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like after seeing that photo. So anyway, he did like a Calvin Klein or something, like a shoot
so
like that.
Shocking.
But it's crazy to see him without tattoos. It's like when we saw the Justin Bieber music video where he got them covered up.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, it's so trippy to see him without tattoos.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is, but in real life.
Oh man.
Crazy.
That is wild. I wonder if that's going to be like, you know how it's always like a trend or whatever. I wonder if that's going to be the new thing. Like we're getting rid of all the crazy tattoos just for it to be more clean looking.
Yeah.
Is that the trend?
I don't know. Well, that's what he was bringing up. Like, remember in 2015 when everyone was just getting like 1 million tattoos? He's like, yeah, that was me. That was
Yeah, that's why I had 1 million tattoos.
But I think that it's always going to, like, tattoos are always going to be in
Always,
for people.
yeah.
So
It was
It just
just
depends.
his was so drastic because it was like his whole body. And when you see someone that has that, you think they're never going to go back because obviously they did that.
Yeah.
So to see him like fully, and it looks like you wouldn't be able to tell.
yeah.
Which is crazy. The
So crazy.
freaking doctors are so good now. Like
Yeah.
other people that just got tattoos would just
But like
back
imagine
then would just keep
spending
them and then
$200,000 on something you chose to get.
No.
Like
See, and no one could do that really.
that's
Like,
crazy. Yeah, to like
you
be
have
able
to
to
be
actually
mega-
remove that many tattoos is so expensive and so painful. And so anyway,
ooh,
crazy.
the pain makes me shudder. Oh, just to get it off you, like,
I
and you
know.
were born that way. It's
crazy.
That's nuts. Oh man. How do you feel about Tanner being tattooed now?
Crazy.
What was your like initial reaction when he walked in, or like when you saw it in person for the first time?
I was just like, whoa, it like looked better than I thought it would even look. Like I was stoked about it. But yeah, it was crazy because he's been talking about getting a tattoo like half of our marriage straight up. And so I just never thought he was going to do it because he's been like, what should I get? If I get a tattoo, what should I get? And he kept like bouncing off these different ideas.
The first one's probably for sure the scariest.
Yeah, because you're just like, what do I get it? What do I get and where do I put it? You know? And so the day before he got it, he's like, there's this opening, like this tattoo artist has an opening. Should I like go do it tomorrow? And I was like, I'm not even going to give you my opinion.
Yeah.
I was like, you need to just do this if you want to do it.
This is your decision.
And don't base it off of my opinion. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I was like, literally just do it if you want to do it and don't do it if you don't want to do it. And so I kind of just let it up to him, and then he's like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then he had Ozzy, of course, draw it, which was super cute. So I don't know. I think it turned out great. And it's a good spot that like for his first tattoo, it's a place that like isn't very visual or visible. Like if he's wearing pants and stuff, but it can be if he's like running or swimming or doing something like that. And so I think it was like a safe first one to do, like in a good spot.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I saw was that Travis Kelce hinted at retiring, or the possibility of it. He said he's running like all the possibilities right now, but I guess he was talking about on his podcast, you know, when you get to the like other side, the end of your career, it's like harder, and obviously you're not at your peak anymore or whatever. So yeah, he has to think about that, which would be crazy because then I wouldn't even know anyone in the NFL anymore.
Oh my gosh. What would we do?
What would we do without Travis and Taylor?
Oh my gosh.
But,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
I think I could see that. Honestly, there's probably a lot of other stuff that he can and wants to pursue too.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't be shocked if he played like 4 more years, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like hard to ask somebody, especially after a loss like that. You're just like, yeah, I'm obviously looking at all the options.
Like, it would stink to not have
this?
ended the year before. Like when he ended on like his 3rd Super Bowl ring, like playing at his best. And then this year he kind of had a bad season.
Yeah, I feel like he would have to do at least 1 more year just to end on like a better note.
But then you would hope that it wasn't worse.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it's
like
scary.
they don't even make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like that would be scary.
That is wild. Personal update, we're all going to Hawaii. We're going to be living together for at least a month.
Yeah.
So that will be fun. We're going to be there for Lo's birthday. Woo! I feel like we've all, I think it's just becoming a tradition where we're just there for mine and Lo's birthdays.
Yeah.
Like that's
just, like we have to be there for the birthday.
The whole birthday month. And like all of our friends that we want to celebrate with are in Hawaii. So it makes it extra fun when we're there, and we can go to the beach and we can surf and we can do all the fun things.
All of our favorite things to do. Why did we move?
I know.
Every time.
And like, well, it'll still be pretty cold here in Utah. It'll be way nicer though. April is actually not that bad sometimes, but cold. By the time we get back, it will be nice outside. Hopefully. Things will be green though. I don't even care if it's colder. The mountains will be green.
Can't wait till they're not brown.
Oh my gosh. Everything will be so pretty. I'm so excited. We can time lapse a month away of cold weather. So that's the biggest highlight.
Yes, that is. And we're really freaking excited.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Anyway, okay. Should we dive in? The advice, usually takes longer than we think because we get going because we have strong opinions. So we haven't read any of these, but they're your guys' submissions. So hopefully we can help you guys out, or if you're in a similar situation, you can kind of gauge, because I know there's a lot of similar ones out there, whether it's dealing with boys or like alone. Husbands, or babies, or I feel like those are generally our most asked advice for sure about relationships and stuff. Yes. Which is funny because we have so much to work on in our own relationships.
I feel like everyone just could benefit from
I think the most important part is like it's really nice to hear a unbiased third party opinion. Yeah. Like no matter what, because sometimes
like
you get
that doesn't have the background and the history. It's just like you see it for what it is.
And like we don't know you. So we're literally just giving that opinion that we don't know who you are. We're not on a side. We're not picking sides unless we read something.
Which is that's what feels crazy about watching reality shows. Like I was just talking to you about what's it called? The Ultimatum. Yeah. It's just the craziest thing because you see these people in their worst in their relationships, and you like from the outside you're like, get as far away from that person as you possibly can. He is so toxic or she is so toxic, whatever. And most of the time it's the guys, to be honest. It's like all the guys in this season that I'm like literally leave them all of the girls are like amazing, and all of the men I'm just like, ew, get away from them.
Why is that happening?
But it's crazy because like in it, like you see these girls just like absolutely in love with them, and they just look past all the red flags, and they're just like, let me just marry you.
And you're just screaming at
and
your
you're like,
screen.
no,
You're like, please,
don't do it. He's crazy. But
Yeah.
anyway. So yeah, from a third party, it's a little bit easier to kind of be like, yeah, get out of that. You know?
Because we don't know you. We don't know if we would even like you.
Yeah.
We could be.
We don't know the
you.
history.
We don't know anything. Yeah. So this is good. So if there is one item that my kids cannot sleep without at night, it is their Hugs little plushies. Sunny has a little turtle one and Jack has a sloth. But the reason they're so cool is because they're weighted. They can help reduce stress and anxiety through the deep touch pressure, similar to how a weighted blanket works. Inside the Hugs, there are non-toxic glass beads. Another cool thing about Hugs is they donate 10% of all the proceeds of our Hugs of the Month to mental wellness charities.
I love that they can be heated or cooled, offering the comfort, stress relief, and help with physical discomfort like cramps. They are so cozy, so warm, and they're heavier than you think they are. They give you a very comforting hug.
They have a ton of different animals that you can choose from, and they're all very cute. Sometimes the best self-care is something that's both practical and irresistibly adorable. That's where Give Hugs weighted plushies come in. They're not just cute, they're the ultimate cozy companion, perfect for relieving stress, soothing cramps, or helping you relax after a long day. Whether you're treating yourself or looking for a thoughtful gift for someone special, these heated, coolable plushies are a hug you can hold on to. Check out givehugs.co, that's CO, and use code FairlyOdd for 20% off your first order. Trust me, you'll want one for you and one to share. Let's read some of these. This one is short and sweet. It says, just found out I'm having a baby girl mid-August. Any advice for a first-time mom? Congratulations.
So amazing.
Well, Lo had a girl first, so I'm still in trial run with the little one.
But I feel like having a first, it's like,
it's kind of all the same.
It's all the same. But yeah, I think 0 to 1 is definitely the biggest shock. I don't care what anybody says. Like 0 to 1 is
on
the biggest shock, because you're going from having no kids to having kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if it's just one, it's a huge lifestyle shift. It's a huge like priority shift. Everything kind of shifts in your world. Like, things just change. And so I think the biggest thing would be like finding you're gonna be a great mom. You're gonna love your baby. And I think finding something every day, even if it's like an hour of you time to go to the gym or read your book or like talk with your husband or your spouse for an hour, just outside of being just the mom for 24/7. I think that's what will help you hold on to like who you are, and then you won't feel as like lost in the beginning, because it is such a big change and it's the best thing in the world. But it can be like, sometimes you look back on that first little bit and you're like, whoa, I was like a shell of a human that was trying to survive, like not sleeping and not.
Yeah, because it really is, for most people, the first time they're getting like zero sleep.
Yeah, and you're just trying to figure out how to breastfeed, and you're trying to figure out how to take care of this human and how it fits into your life. And maybe you're starting to work again and you're like, how do I have
Or in
time?
your head, you're thinking like, I can't do anything else except for like pay attention to this baby, because it's like when you have one too, that seems to be like how it is. Obviously, the more kids you have, like obviously your attention is split, but I felt like I had to literally stare at Jack or like be an inch away from him at all times, which yes, when they're a baby, like you want someone with them. I'm not saying that, but just like I felt like the mental pull of 24/7 always being like, this is my life, this is my world, what is he thinking, what is he doing, am I doing this with him, like is he okay? Is he like I think like just
give yourself so much grace. Like, you just gave birth and you brought this human into the world, and so try your best to like give yourself grace, like,
and don't look at other people's kids. Like, do not compare. It is so hard to do, but you will be a way happier mom if you just focus on like your situation, whether your baby's sleeping or whether your baby's not sleeping. Like, try not to look at other moms that look like, oh, they have it all together, or like just don't compare like, well, their baby's taking a 2-hour nap, like, because it's never going to be the same for the next baby. And like that's a lot of times a really hard struggle for moms, especially when their babies are like struggling with certain things, whether that's breastfeeding or like not sleep or like they're just not happy or like whatever. It can be really like it can spiral you if you just like start looking at other people's like situations. So just focus on your baby, and guess what? They're going to make it through. They're going to be loved and cared for and happy. And like at the end of the day, that's all you need. Don't need to worry about all the little crazy tiny details. Like as long as they're loved and cared for, you're good. Like that's all you need.
Okay, next one says, just recently got back together with my boyfriend of 4.5 years after breaking up because of cheating. Sad. We were broken up for almost 3 months. Now he's working extremely hard to be the man I deserve and is treating me better than ever. I'm just stuck on what people will think and if I'm being dumb for getting back with him. What are y'all's thoughts on this situation and what would you do? Love you guys in the pod so much. Thanks. Love you.
Thank you.
What's your initial?
I have mixed. I don't want to go first. You go first.
Okay, so it seems like you guys have been together for a long time, and I'm assuming there's no kids involved. If that's the case, I personally would try my best to move on from the situation, even though you've spent so many years together. It can feel daunting because you're like, oh, I don't want to look back and feel like I've wasted this time. It's never a waste because that was a part of your life and your love, and that's just how you learn and grow and how you can get to the next step. But I personally, I don't know obviously your whole situation, but it would be hard to trust that person going forward. And if it, I guess it just depends on like how.
I also want to know, I think it was hard for me. I was like not knowing exactly how to answer because I don't know the level of the cheating. Cause I think there's a lot of different levels of that. Like, cause we don't know if like he was he a serial cheater? Was he messaging a girl? Were they like talking over FaceTime? Were they hooking up in person? Like there's so many different levels to that. And like, it does kind of make a difference. Like, it's not just like, oh, he cheated on me. And it's like, that's it. Like that's there are different levels to that. And like, if you can work through that, for me, if this was like a physical, like meeting up in person type of cheating situation, and maybe I'm like whack for this, but I'm kind of just like that's a deal breaker for me. And like Lo said, like you probably don't have kids with him at this point, but if you were to seal that deal and then have kids and then this were to happen again, like you have a family with this man, and like
it would just hurt that much more.
It would hurt that much more.
That much hard.
Yeah, because you have a family to think about. So for me, if it was that level of cheating, I would probably walk away. If it was like he was messaging a girl and he's like really changed. Sometimes though, I've seen, and this isn't always the case, that men will overcompensate.
The love bombing,
the dropping, like he's a fully
like
different person,
than he's ever been.
And
it's
then
like, well, he did something bad.
Yeah, and like how long is that going to last? Like,
exactly.
It almost would be more of a green flag if he was just like doing that, just normally at like a normal pace, and not like how you're saying of like he's better than he's ever been. Because that's to me where I'm like, that's
not gonna stay.
Yeah.
That is his way of feeling guilty and getting you back. But I fear like
you were definitely not dumb for getting back in the situation.
Because obviously
that was like one of her questions. You were not dumb at all. That history, it's like
is so hard. It's like so much harder to walk away from somebody that you love and that you want to believe is gonna be better, or you know, like I just feel like you're not dumb at all, and so many people find themselves in this situation. But you got to trust your gut, and you got to go with what feels right for you.
Cause like, I think, obviously you know him best. So if you think like this is a real, like he's never, like, that was so out of character and that was just a fluke weird thing, and it wasn't to the extent that we're talking about of like physical and like all the time, then like that's kind of your call. But yeah, I don't have like a very soft spot in my heart for cheaters. Like I don't like, I kind of am just like, meh.
Yeah.
I just think like it's hard, like once that line has been crossed in a relationship, like it's hard to trust again, and it's hard to like, it's hard for them to like rein it in, you know, like once that's been a thing,
Crossed,
it's like that, why not cross it again? Like,
Exactly.
I don't know. Hopefully that helps. I don't know. I feel like it wasn't a straight
I know
answer.
it's never cut and dry though. That's
I
just
feel like
kind
we
of,
would need a 3-page novel on like all the interactions
For
and
sure.
all the like what went down. Why'd you guys, how'd the breakup end? Like there's so many things.
And I think like obviously you know yourself the best. You gotta trust your gut. But a good rule of thumb is like the people around you, if they support you guys as a couple, that's like a big green flag in my eyes. And if they don't, the people that love you the most are like not rooting for that, and you trust those people, I would really look at if that relationship is worth it.
Yeah.
Because usually those people are wanting the best for you.
Yeah. True. Okay.
All right.
Advice on how to break up with a toxic friend. Little backstory. We've been friends since elementary school, and things weren't always bad, but ever since we both become moms, it seems like everything is a competition, and I just can't handle how negative she is all the time.
Like advice on how to distance yourself.
Yeah. How to break up with a toxic friend.
So they want to make a stance and not just kind of like fade away. Because
Your stance would
be to like, if you are not vibing, but you've had this like huge history, maybe like just slowly not really hanging out as much, kind of distance yourself. And if they ask or bring it up, you can then say like, hey, I was just struggling, like being a new mom. It felt like there was some negative energy from you, and I didn't want to like ruin our relationship, but I did need like a little space and time. And I think that would be a respectful way to kind of like share how you felt, and not have to like immediately be like, I need to never see you again. But I don't know the level.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely like a good way to handle it, because
that's like also me not liking confrontation. So I don't know.
Well, it's like there's two options. It's like that, or you just like sit and have a conversation with her, which is definitely like, it seems it's the scarier option of like, okay, we're like having this talk and I feel like you've been negative and it's just been hard to like connect with you, like just becoming a mom and like you said, like competition or whatever. I think like if in the future, like you still have any part of yourself that wants to like maybe rebuild that friendship, and like, because it doesn't sound like anything like huge has happened. It's just like probably a lot of little things that have just built up, and you're feeling like, okay, this is just like not a good relationship. So that's why in this case, I feel like maybe like Lauren's approach is like the better option in this. Like normally
if you're like set on breaking up with that friend, you know, like
if you're set on never seeing this person again, then I would just tell them. Like I would literally just be like, I can't like be friends with you unless like something changes.
Yeah. And
either they'll freak out or be like, whoa, I have been like that. And then maybe you could rebuild that together and you would stay friends. But if like there's a chance that you like, I don't know, I think I would fade away. If like you still in the future, like maybe when your kids are older, that she'd get back to like how she was, or like you guys could go back to like that kind of a friendship, then I would probably just, distance yourself.
Yeah. But if there's a chance that you want to keep that friendship, if like there's a possibility that she could change, maybe having that conversation first before fading away and being like, hey, like, just so you know, this has been my worries, and like,
it's
are you okay?
It's never a bad thing to bring things up as like a nice thing.
Yeah.
Like you're saying.
Yeah. So
that's always a good option. And you could make it more about like checking in on her, being like, hey, like, I know like being a new mom is such a huge adjustment, and like, are you okay? Like it sounds like she might be struggling with that. But growing up comes with a lot of challenges, and investing can sometimes feel overwhelming and complicated, and sometimes it's hard to figure out where to start. But with the app Acorns, they believe that anyone can be an investor. And that's why they make it easy to stick to the basic time-tested principles that give your money a chance to grow.
That's why we're excited to be sponsored by Acorns. Acorn is a financial wellness app that makes it easy to start saving and investing for your future. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you and your money goals. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now, even if all you've got is spare change. You can create your Acorns account and start investing in just 5 minutes.
So basically Acorns does the hard part so you can give your money the chance to grow. I think it's always a good thing to be able to invest that extra money that you're not really sure what to do with. So you can sign up now and join over 13 million all-time customers who've already saved and invested over $22 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/fairlyodd or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC on SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/fairlyodd.
Okay, next says, I feel like I'm in a toxic relationship with my boss. One moment he's being degrading, underappreciating me, treating me like a doormat, and the next he's being nice, treating me well, and taking care of me and trying to be my friend. It's not like he's a boyfriend I can break up with. How do I deal with this toxic relationship? Good question. That's an interesting one. Like, so in the workspace, he's either like treating you terrible or he's like super nice.
Is he bipolar?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that would
pretty
be wild
really
to have
hard
such a
to
difference.
have this with a boss, and you can't just be like, unless you quit, you're not like.
I think like my thing that I would probably do if I was dealing, like if it's such a roller coaster like that, is like when when he's like degrading you or like freaking out at you, or like right after that happens, I would like be like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And then like chat with him and say, okay, like I'm really confused on our relationship. Like 1 minute you're yelling at me like you just did or whatever, and then the next you're being really nice, and it's kind of, I don't know where I stand with you, and just get it out there and be like, honestly, or look for another job. Yeah. But
that's such a interesting one that I haven't like thought about.
Yeah.
Because I've never had a boss treat me like terribly.
I would say like I'm not going to stand to be treated like that. Honestly, it's good to stand up for yourself. Yeah. So I think you would probably do it. Yeah. Like after.
I'd be scared as age to do that. But like, I think that it's really good. I'm like, I would want to do that. Yeah. It would just be hard. Yeah. To like approach a boss. Yeah. Person that's like above you that quote unquote pays you. Yeah. It's like scary, but
like you don't want to have to deal with that all the time. And then the stress of like not knowing, what am I going to get today? Like, is he going to be freaking pissed at me, or is he going to be really nice? Like,
yeah. Or yeah. Just like letting him know, can you leave like whatever you bring with you at work, like at home?
Yeah. It sounds like maybe he's taking something out on you. Yeah. So just get to the bottom of that. And if he freaking fires you, then you'll be better off. I promise. Like you will find a better boss. Ooh, that's really hard though. That would scare me.
I know.
Like you mess up once and you're like, ah.
So scary. Not
that you even messed up. I wonder if he's just taking random stuff out on you. Okay, I'm currently planning my wedding and wanted to know if you have any tips or things that you did at your weddings that made it more memorable.
Yes.
We all said this. This was our top one for the that we wish we would have done, is have someone on iPhone phone.
Yes.
Photos and videos.
Oh my gosh, I wish that so bad. I wish that was a thing so bad. Also, one of my favorite things that we did at the wedding was have a Polaroid cameras at the front, and everyone that came to the wedding, we had them take a Polaroid picture of themselves, and then that's how they would sign the book. Because I just knew like in the future,
you're not going to remember.
I'm not going to remember who this person is. I like I'm such a visual person. So it's fun because now our wedding book is of all the pictures of the guests that came to our wedding, which is really fun.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I love that.
Eat at your wedding. Make sure they give you time to eat.
Yeah. Smash the cake into your partner's face.
This is like such a controversial thing. Like I hear many people that are like, oh, I can't believe they would smash the cake. And then people are like, yeah, smash the cake.
No,
like,
I think that the men should definitely be sweet. Like, yeah, give them a little on the lipstick or something, you know, like with the cake, but don't do this to your wife. You know, like that's just gonna ruin their whole makeup look.
Yeah. And
but
the boys aren't wearing makeup.
The boys don't wear makeup, so
they just clean it off their face and move on.
So literally, it was funny, and
yeah, that is a fun.
But like when I see a man smack their wives like with the cake and just shove it all over, I'm like, okay, that was a little much.
That's a little.
That's a little too much.
I wish I had like, okay, this might just be my opinion, but I wish I had a reception dress. Like I wore the one dress through the whole day and it was so heavy and like hot and uncomfortable. I'm like, I wish I would have changed into like a cute, like another fancy, but like cute short dress.
My dress was so light. Yeah,
yours was light and airy. But I just think it's also fun to really like have another dress. Like everyone's already seen the wedding dress. Like it's fun to change into something different. Wish I would have done that. There's a lot of things, but we also had like a traditional. We had a churchy wedding. So.
Yeah, we both had LDS weddings, and so the layout's a little different. Like we didn't have ceremonies, and so yeah, it's like a lot different than a regular wedding.
Yes, but that'll be really fun. Whatever you do, but I do think like the photos and the video are very important.
So important. Just make sure you get photos, like hire a photographer. Hire a videographer. A lot of people will cut the videographer because they're trying to save on budget. I promise.
In other places. You're not going to care about the flowers. Like just like get
straight up. Get beautiful flowers, but like there's cheaper ones. There's different options. Cut on something else. You are going to want the video. You are going to want the photos, and that's something that
do a random person for the iPhone, someone that's like doesn't want to like be in the wedding, because that's a hard job.
Yeah,
like whether you need to pay them or whatever, like I think for the iPhone,
honestly, video. Don't skimp on don't leave out on the videographer. It is literally the best part. I think that's and one other thing that I've seen that I thought would be so cute is a lot of people will make their own perfume scent and cologne for their wedding day specifically, and they only use it on their wedding day. And so then whenever they wear that perfume or cologne after, you're so like cute. You remember your wedding, and it's smells such like a
thing
like it takes you back to a specific time. And so I think that's so smart and special to do that, because then you can remember, like it will bring you back to your wedding day.
Yes, something that you can like have for a long time. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. That's
so every anniversary you can use that cologne and perfume and just remember getting married.
Dang. We should get married again.
I know. Let's redo. This is our 10-year anniversary this year.
You should.
Crazy.
That is wild.
I just started taking my physical health seriously at the start of the year. So far, it's going very well, except I don't know how to balance my love of sweets with my weight loss goal of 25 pounds. Any suggestions on how to still enjoy dessert, but make it not compromising my goals?
I too love sweets.
I too love sweets as well. I toot sweet.
I too love sweets.
Toot sweet. This is
really such a hard thing.
I think like it's balance in everything. And so
treats have to be like kind of in moderation though. Like
you have to,
because they're just so bad for you. Like I don't know. They're just bad. They taste so good and they're just bad. But
maybe like you can have your one treat that's, proportionally not huge. You know what I mean? Like a day where you like set a time where you're like, this is where I'm going to have my treat. This is what it's going to be. It's so tricky though, because there's so many times you're out and about with friends and you just want to not be left out of those fun situations. It's such like a
social thing too. And at parties, it's like, I'm not going to pass that up. I'm never going to see this dessert again.
Yeah. But if your goal is to like lose that 25 pounds, I don't know. My thing is I did best on macros, because then I knew like I knew what I had allotted at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So I knew if I could have that treat and not feel guilty about it.
Some people do some people do really well on macros. I cannot, but a lot of people do. It was too stressful to even think about that. But honestly, something that I did that helped me a lot when we were in Hawaii, because I just like craved sweets at all times, was I just bought myself, this is so stupid, but I just bought myself like little packs of high chews. And I would just know that like if it wasn't a weekend, like I would say that I could have like more desserty stuff on like weekends was my thing. So it was kind of like a treat, you know?
Yeah.
But then during the week I would have like 3 or 4 high chews like while I was watching my show. That really did like give me something sweet, but it wasn't like, those aren't terrible for you.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why it's nice to like have like one treat aside.
Yeah.
That you're like, I'm not going to eat a treat after every meal.
Yeah.
I'm going to have it like in the evening or in the after this meal, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's
hard. So hard.
Good luck
I'm
with that
I'm in a like sweetie phase right now.
I know.
I am just like
sweet.
Cookies, cheesecake, like randomly, like I have to have stuff.
It's so hard.
Which is so frustrating. And I feel like honestly, the more that you eat sweets, the more you crave them.
Oh yeah, because
that's so real.
addictive.
So it's like if you can just do it in moderation, it's like the cravings won't be as crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
But good luck with that. We're rooting for you. My baby literally wakes up every hour on the hour. We are losing our minds. Any tips on sleep training, getting the baby to go to sleep and stay asleep? Oh, do I feel this in my bones?
This is all you, Sarah.
No, I like this actually gives me anxiety. Eating it. It throws me back. Both my kids have gone through these periods at one point or another in their babyhood, and it is so hard and it is such a dark hole. And you probably are both those type of people sounding from the sound of it that need their sleep. Like it's just like you're losing your mind, like your body and your brain need it.
Yeah.
Some babies just do this, and and this is maybe not comforting at all, but like we did the sleep training, and I was religious with it. It wasn't like I was just like trying like here and there, one day on, one day off. Like I was religious with it, and like my kids both still woke up so many freaking times. So I mean, I would look at taking care of babies. That I do feel like helped my kids. It's such a good, like gentle way to kind of just like give you an idea of like what you need. Because I remember just like you said, losing your mind, like Googling everything at night, like just because you're in the thick of it and you're looking for any advice. And I feel like at least taking care of babies gave me like a, like something to follow. Even if it wasn't like fully working, I was like, okay, I can focus on like, this is what I should be doing. And then like, I'm doing what I should. And if it doesn't work, like they're humans. Like they just are gonna do what they're gonna do. Like some babies sleep really good and some babies don't.
Yeah.
But like
there's gonna be, and you have to know that like one day it won't be this bad. And it like feels like there's not a light at the end of the tunnel, but like just know that one day it will not be this bad, and just try and get through it the best you can. And it's so hard. I do have like a small tip of like, you're saying like they're waking up every hour and you want to know sleep training or getting the baby to go to sleep and stay asleep. Hopefully, like I would say don't, if the baby's waking up in the night every hour, kind of depending on the age, but don't feed them every time they wake up. Like then your baby just gets used to that, and then they're just like snacking. And it's like, oh, they feel like they need that to go back to sleep. So then they're like waking up and going, well, my mom or dad is going to feed me and I'm going to go back to sleep. So like try and just like other methods. I don't know if you are feeding them, but try other things before just like, because a lot of moms are like, well, my baby's not sleeping. But immediately when the baby cries, they like put the baby on their boob. And that was me with
like,
Ozzy for the first 2 months. It's harder too in the beginning.
In the beginning, you kind of have to, like, because they need food.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know what age your baby is. So this is hard. But
yeah,
it sounds like if you're asking about sleep training, they're probably at the
around
age
4 or 5 or
months.
6.
Yeah. Something
or
like
when
that.
Can you sleep train? Is that 6?
You can start. They have
4?
like things to do really early. It's like after the first month or 2. Okay. But they're like, it's not sleep training. It's like, here's a routine to like follow.
Like baby
but
wise.
look up taking care of babies. Yeah. It's a really good course to find stuff. And I'm so sorry. It's so hard. We just went
Scary
through this last week with Sunny. She woke up every hour to an hour and a half screaming her head off. Not even like kind of chill. Just like, so we had like 3 straight nights where it felt like we were back in this newborn land.
I'm like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. 2 years later,
2
still
years
doing
later,
it.
Sunny decides to do this for like a full week. And she's still waking up every single night. Like we're not out of that like craziness, but like she's getting a little bit better. But it's like randomly they'll just like throw that at you. And you're like, okay, I think I slept like an hour last night, because they just decide to just scream their heads off. I don't know.
Yeah.
Keep you on your toes.
Sure do. They sure freaking do. Okay. This one says, is it okay to do other sexual things before marriage if I'm waiting to have actual sex for after I'm married? This is such a personal decision.
This is a personal thing. And I think it's also like a religious thing.
Yeah.
Like it depends on
like your beliefs, what you feel comfortable with, what you feel okay with. If it's, I feel like this is totally up to you and what feels right for you.
Like if you feel like you're feeling pressured in like that you need to do those things and like you're not really comfortable with it, then I think if you're not comfortable with it, then you should you should wait till you're actually married. But like if you're fully comfortable with it and you're just like, is this bad? Or like, I don't know. That's
going to be person to person based on like your beliefs.
But I think it's totally normal to be engaged and like want to do these other things, even if you're waiting for marriage. That's like the most normal human thing in the world.
Yes, for sure. So. And I know that like it's across the board with people that I've met or know. Yeah. Like even if you think people aren't doing stuff, they're doing stuff. Like you are in love with each other, so it's so natural to want to do those things. So it's got to be a personal decision that what feels right for you.
Expecting my first, and I'm so scared for postpartum more than birth. Any tips? And love the pod. Honestly, the fact that you already are scared for postpartum tells me that you're ahead. Like that you've thought about it, that you kind of know. Not that it's like terrible, but it is definitely, Lauren's saying it's terrible.
It's a place. It's not terrible. It's it's just like a lot, especially on the woman who is healing from birth. You're taking care of a newborn. If you're breastfeeding, there's just a lot that kind of falls on to you because you're the one giving birth. You know what I mean? And so it is hard. I think just taking it day by day. And one thing I will say is the Frida company that has all the like diapers and the spray and all that stuff, like do that. That is helpful.
I've worked with them for the last 2 for both my kids. Yeah. And with the postpartum recovery kit, worth every penny. Like you use it all. Witch hazel.
When you're at the hospital, ask for extra witch hazel and ask for extra of their underwear. They'll give it to you. And it's just so nice to have extras of, because when you get home, you have like the witch hazel, the spray, the numbing spray.
The spray runs out fast. So get the spray.
All that stuff is actually super helpful. So
get a good perennial bottle too. Like that is, I had just the one for Jack. Was it Jack? I think I lost mine or something. Yeah. And I had to use it for one of my kids, like just the one that they gave you at the hospital, where you like have to like kind of tilt it down. It didn't have like the little head on it.
I don't even know what the heck you're talking about.
It's the thing that cleans you that you do every single time.
Oh, the sprayer?
But it has like a L-shaped thing. Yeah. Worth it. Worth every penny. Frida. Get one of those. I use
that every second that I went to the bathroom.
Instead of just like a squeezy bottle is what I'm saying. Like that was so much harder than like the one that it shoots it up. Yes,
that one's very worth it.
Get that for sure. And then postpartum, literally
just strap in and know that like things are going to get easier and better.
You're scaring me.
I'm sorry. It's just like, I don't want to be like, it's amazing.
It's not amazing for sure.
Like you're in newborn bliss. Absolutely. but it's still
The
going to
fact
be a
you're
little bit
saying
hard.
Newborn bliss. I'm like, what
And
is
Sarah's
what
like, what is that?
newborn
What
bliss?
is newborn bliss?
Like,
But
what?
you might be in newborn bliss.
You might be if your baby is
Regardless,
sweet and
but you
cuddles
are
with
happy. You are
no,
happy.
like I've never been like, yeah, I felt like I was still myself.
Even with
like,
yeah.
it just is you. Yeah, you can't expect for your life. I think the most important thing is you can't expect for your life to be exactly how it was like before and continue doing all the things that you like right after.
Yes,
you know what
like,
I mean?
That's
you just
what
have
you
to
need to give
heal
yourself
and
time
rest.
and grace. Don't try and force back into like these things so
Yeah.
fast or whatever. Like give yourself time, give yourself grace. Don't step on that scale. Just relax and try and enjoy that time with your baby. Everything else is going to get better and easier, but just that time, that newborn time goes by so fast. So just try and slow down and take it all in. Even the nights you're up, you gotta appreciate it for what it is, and it'll get better. It'll get easier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Honestly though, it does, like, don't you feel like postpartum the second time around was a lot easier because you knew what to expect?
Yes. Oh, with Stella, I was just like, I was
you're
kind
like,
of
this
in
is
bliss.
kind of just like normal, like
because I
we're
knew
just-
like I didn't put any pressure on like my body bouncing back in a week.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I knew that it was going to take time, and I was just like enjoying the time with the baby, and yeah, it was a lot easier. So just, I think giving yourself time and grace, and try not to feel FOMO of other people, like do what feels best for you, you know? And that might be staying at home and getting in as many naps as you can, you know?
Yeah.
This one says, any advice to deal with anxiety? I tend to care way too much about what other people think of me, and before falling asleep, I will reanalyze my day and think about how others potentially perceive me in a negative way. Can anyone else relate, and how do I stop? Oh, I relate to this so much.
Take it away, Lo.
Like, no, I'm just saying, I think that I don't know if this is everyone, but I definitely like sometimes will lay down and then be like, overthink something that I said, or like be like, whoa, could that have been taken in the wrong way? Like, oh shiz, like, is that person mad at me? Like, I totally am somebody to do that.
I think that's human. Like,
so
I
human.
think I think that's not a bad thing if you're doing that, because that means that you're aware of how others are like, like it's not good to focus on that 24/7, but like if you're thinking about those things, it means you're trying to be like a good version of yourself.
Yeah. But I also think even if people don't say it, I think that everyone cares a little bit about what people think about them. And that just means that you want to be like a good person, and you want people to think that you're a good person. You know what I mean? So I think that's also normal. It's just, if it's hindering, like if you're starting to become a people pleaser and not doing things for you, that's when it kind of is like, okay, maybe reevaluate the why behind your doing things. And yeah, that's where it can get kind of tricky.
Yeah. Anxiety in itself, though, I think you got to see how much it's affecting your day to day. And if it's like crippling you, it's not just a normal, like, I'm having these thoughts of like little things at night or whatever. If it's truly like getting out of hand, because you can develop anxiety later in life, even if you weren't born with it, you're like, I've never had these anxieties. Like, it's fully
like
a possibility that you develop it.
Yeah, a lot of times it will happen after giving birth, or a big life
changes, and just getting older, like all the stuff that comes with growing up.
It gets heavy.
Yeah. And so like if you need to like talk to a doctor, there's no shame in that. Even if like you're the first person in your family, like I know that's a huge thing sometimes, where you know you're scared to go get like a little tiny dose of a medication that could literally alter your universe. So I think you got to take a look and see, like, is this really affecting my everyday life? And if it is, I think it might be a good thing to go talk to a doctor and see, and then they can like analyze if they think you need like a small dose of something. It's never a bad thing. Like, I know Derek could not function without like some of the medication that he's on. So, and I'm like grateful for that. And it's not a bad thing. It's just like our brains change, and that's totally okay.
Everyone's brain is different. And figuring
out. And also I think maybe something that could help is like when you catch yourself like at night, if it's taking up like hours and you're like thinking about this so much, like maybe try and like change the narrative in your head, and instead of like replace the, like you just said, like the way that you wrote it is you're seeing how others potentially perceive you in like a negative way. Like maybe try and flip that and like go through your day and be like, okay, but what did I feel good about today? Like what did I do good, positive? What, you know, did I do something fun today? Like just I try and like flip that, even though it's harder than it sounds. But I think the more that you do that, like the easier it will get. And then your brain will kind of all of a sudden start being like more trained to do that instead of like all the negative things that happened, you know?
Yeah. I also think actually something Derek taught me a long time ago about how he deals with it sometimes is he'll let a thought come in, and if it's one that's negative, it's not like he like pushes it away and tries to like suppress it or whatever. He acknowledges it and he'll say hi to it. He'll say hi, and then he'll let it like pass through him and an exit, like say hi and then bye.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He like legit does that.
Yeah.
Like,
and I was like, that actually does help me sometimes when I'm kind of like going in a loop and spiral. I'll like let it come in,
exactly
you
what
acknowledge it,
Yeah.
you say what it is, and then you say goodbye to it.
Yeah.
And you like let it go.
Yeah.
And stop hanging up on it because it's not worth it. It's not worth your time, not worth your energy. Let it go.
Yeah, that definitely could help. Like just yeah. Derek's good at that kind of stuff. He's had a lot of advice on that. Good. All right, we're gonna end with kind of a funny, spicy one. Okay, this says, been married for 3 years, and my husband and I are wanting to try some new things in the bedroom, but don't have any ideas. What are some ways so you can keep the love alive in the bedroom? This is funny. I don't know. I feel like it's because it's like so real. Like it makes me giggle because I feel like everyone's been there. Like when you've been married for so long, you just get into that. Like you do sometimes the same things like every time, and it's just you just get in a routine. Okay, it's true, and it's like what are some ways? So, it's like it's awkward. I feel like talking about yourself. I say we're like talking. That's what I'm saying.
I think a good way, literally such a simple way, is hopping on Amazon or going to whatever store and getting some fresh new lingerie.
I was gonna say that,
and but like feeling cute just makes it better. Like feeling like you are sexy and whatever, like that,
and they love it.
It's like something they'll love and you'll also love, and that's like such a simple like obviously it's not changing the like actions that you're doing, but it's
sometimes you just forget to look cute.
Like you like just still want to try for your spouse and you still want to like feel sexy. You want to feel like, you know,
buy him some new soft underwear too. Sometimes like I don't know, sometimes like Derek's underwear would get looking really raggedy and I was just like no shade. He fully changed this. Like we don't have this problem anymore. But like when we were like newly married and just like Andy. Like just and I'm like, how am I supposed to like like
what do you expect me to do from here?
Yeah, like boys don't really care about it though, is what I'm trying to say. Like they have the nicest like Stance has some really nice men's underwear. Apparently Lululemon does like the really like flattering like compression. I don't really know. Compression. But honestly, buy yourself some, get him some. And then I honestly think it's hard in a marriage too, because you're like, if you've been doing the same thing for so long, it can be really like, how are they going to take this if I randomly just do something different? At least that's kind of how
just try it.
Just try it. That's what I'm saying.
Freaking try it.
Just be like, hey, like communication is key. Be like, I want to try this. And then like, especially if you're the girl, like the guy is going to be stoked. Like also something that's kind of fun. I don't know if you guys have seen those dice. Do you have them? We have like 4 freaking pairs of those dice. They're kind of fun.
Why are
like,
you getting 4 pairs of these dice?
I don't know why. We always get like, I don't know if they're in like they're
sent to you.
Or we have like this deck of cards that is like actions. They're mixed in actions with like emotional. So it's
this
like
would be a good one for you, especially if you don't know where to go. Like if you're like Actually, I don't even know.
Yeah,
what to
you just
do.
like read the card.
That would be good because then it would give you an idea.
And half the time you get through like 2 of them and then it's like, woo, game on. But like at least it like sparks something different and it's like a different way to go about it. So maybe introduce some
I love that.
new stuff in there.
Maybe
some new position. Just try it. Just try it.
You have an idea? Try it.
Just try it. That's all we say.
Try it, baby.
Oh, but yeah, I guess, and this one was saying, but like, don't have any ideas.
Yeah.
So honestly,
like,
there's like those sex position cards too. Like, have you seen those where they're like stick figure drawings? People, we're not gross. Okay, we're not.
You should read
but
Fourth Wing.
Oh my gosh, I am gonna forget that we all know those. Freaking guilty pleasure.
No,
try that in the bedroom.
No, you should read some like,
book porn.
No,
you're telling
I'm
them
trying
to
to say if they want ideas, then maybe you could get a couple ideas from.
You could find yourself
romanticises.
You could
novels.
find yourself a shadow wielder that can literally wield shadows around you.
Not what I'm saying. You know, there's parts in there where it will spark an idea of a position or something where you're like, we should try that.
Book porn. Okay. All right. Well, DDD.
I'm trying to give ideas, okay? Trying to give ideas.
I think you can do that. Maybe stick to the cards and the dice.
Why? You read Fourth Wing.
I know, but it's always someone reading it to me in the middle of the day. It's like,
no, I'm just saying, like, if you have nowhere to go, like maybe a romantasy novel that has a little bit of that edge in it where you're like, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe we'll try that.
There you go.
You never know.
There you go.
You never know where you're going to spark some inspiration.
Some real solid advice for us to end on.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that was really fun. I always feel bad we can't get to nearly all the ones that were submitted, but thank you for the submissions. Always.
Thank you.
We'll continue to do advice episodes every now and again because apparently you guys want to hear what we have to say about things, which sometimes shocks me, but we love it.
Yes.
And we are so grateful you guys listen to the pod. Again, we continuously have people wherever we go say like, we love the pod. And that's like the first thing that you guys will come say to us in person. And it like really means a ton to us. It means
a lot. So thank you for listening. Thank you for always being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel, for following us on Spotify, Apple, all those things. It's literally the best. So we really appreciate it.
And we love you. We'll see you next time.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.